up, everybody? This your girl Jay Liv, and I am the creator of Talks with Liv. I want to say thank you for subscribing to my channel. Like, share, do all that amazing stuff. Click on it, send it to your friend, send it to a church member, send it to whoever. Because I'm trying to grow my channel and all that wonderful things and stuff. Like, what do we do when God has said something and He's told us something and it doesn't turn out the way that we think God is going to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, you be thinking, like, God tell you, like, I'm going to send you a spouse, or I'm going to send you a job, or you need to move. And you like, okay, cool, right. You know, I'm going to move, da-da-da-da, X, Y, and Z. And then you think that it's supposed to, God is going to do it like this. And so you got it in your mind where you're like, oh, cool, God gonna do it like this, and I'm gonna move here, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and it don't happen that way. And when I say it don't happen that way at all, I mean it don't happen that way at all. I'm gonna use myself as a great example. So, I moved to Virginia last year, and sorry for the noise, I'm still in a cafe. So people are kind of like moving chairs randomly. So, anywho, I moved to Virginia in 2022. It's like July. And so I'm thinking, like, okay, I'm going to get down there because I'm from Michigan. That's why I got the Lions, you know, jacket on. I just like it. I don't really know anything about, like, the Lions and football. I stopped paying attention when Barry Sanders retired, so I couldn't tell you a thing about it. But nevertheless, I was like, cool, bet, I'm about to move. Thank you, Lord, I got this job, and I'm gone. Like, I'm OUT out. Like, I'm about to leave Michigan. I'm about to, you know, I've always wanted to live in the DMV. I'm excited. Like, let's ride. So then I get here to the DMV, that Virginia in particular, and get to the hotel, and I'm like, cool, bet. I'm at the hotel, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to check in. And the lady tells me, like, oh, well, we want the money up front. And I'm like, I haven't even stayed here. Like, don't you normally, like, check in and then you pay for it when you check out? She was like, no, you're going to pay for it now, and then if you don't stay, then you just leave. I said, then when do I get my money back? And she said, oh, well, then you can get your money back 3 to 7 business days. And I was like, that's not what you said on the phone. Like, that's not what you told me what you was going to do. That's not nothing. What you said on the phone versus what you're doing is not in the same thing at all. So, anywho, I go, and I'm trying to find another hotel. I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm praying, and I'm crying, and I'm asking God, like, God, what am I going to do? Like, you know, I got this new job, and if the hotel is not panning out, then what do I do? Like, because right now I look like I'm about to be homeless in a state that I ain't got no family, I ain't got no support system. Like, I'm just going off of what you said. Man, I ended up being homeless, actually. I ended up sleeping in my car. The next day, I went to work, and I was so upset. I was so frustrated. I was so upset. I was so angry. And I was like, man, if this job don't work out, I'm going back to Michigan because I can't do this. Them people was the nicest people I had ever met in my life. And when I say nicest people, I mean the nicest people that I had ever enjoyed, like, working. Like, I really enjoyed working for that company. And I ended up being homeless in my car for, like, I want to say I started that job like 2022 July. I didn't check into like an actual hotel until like September. And that was because I had a lot going on during that time, and I was behind in bills, and it's a whole story. That whole situation is a long story, but I'm just giving the short version. I guess I'll get a long version in a later video or something like that, if God allows me to. But I ended up getting an even better job that following month. So that's how I was able to afford the hotel, because what it costs to live in Michigan is not the same as what it costs to live in DMV. It's like 3 times much more, and like 3 times more, shall I say, tongue tied. But I say all that to say is that yes, God had told me that I was gonna move to Virginia. He had told me that I was gonna move to Virginia that year. But he did not tell me everything that I had to go through to get there. And I just want to be the first person to tell you, like, don't put God in a box. Don't put God in a box, and don't fantasize about how you think God is going to do something, because the way you think God is going to do it and the way he does it is not the same thing. It's not the same thing at all. You will let yourself down sitting up here trying to imagine, like, oh man, if God do it like this and God do it like that, it's going to turn out like that, and da-da-da-da, and it's going to be like this, and I'm going to be like that. You're going to create a whole movie in your brain, and you're the only person that's starring in it, because God didn't say anything. He just told you, you want such and such, okay, here's such and such. He told me, he was like, you're going to move to Virginia. And I was like, okay. In different ways, he kind of confirmed it. And so then I'll talk about that too, because it was crazy. That whole story is just, it's crazy. I think it's probably maybe be like 2-3 parts, but I wrote a book about it actually. Yeah, I wrote a book about it. So nevertheless, I say all this and I use myself as an example, as in, when God tells you he's going to do something, he's going to do it. But the way you expect it to be, it may not be that way. The way you expect it to happen may not happen that way. But be okay with the fact that it may not happen that way, but know that God is going to do it. So just remember, like, don't fantasize about it. Don't try to put in your way or try to help God to do what only he can do. Don't try to, be like, oh, well, if I do this or if I do that, then maybe he'll do this, and then I get this. Don't do that. Don't do that, because it's going to turn out really bad, and you're going to mess up a whole lot. You're going to mess up your whole situation. So you don't have no delays, and you don't have no issues and no problems and nothing like that. Allow God to do what only he can do, and thank God in advance for the fact that he said he's going to do it, he's going to do it, and that's just point blank, period. All right, so hopefully you can take this word up. You can use it for your everyday life. You can send this to a friend and someone who needs to be encouraged. And I will talk to you in the next video. Walk in peace, not in pieces. God bless.